Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate to Coffee. I'm Liz, and today I'm joined by Paige and John. Say hi, guys.
Hey.
So we're going to talk about Andre the Giant and his legacy, what he had to deal with for issues throughout his life, and some of his best and most memorable roles, and who he was as a person. So let's start with his wrestling career. And John, you said you had some good stories on him that you know about being a fellow fan of Andre.
He when he first was in wrestling, he was basically a sideshow attraction. They weren't really advertising for him as like see him wrestle. It's like come see the 7'4" giant. Like he'd be lent out to different territories across the United States to help promoters make money.
Wow. To use like a sideshow for the beginning of his career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that basically what wrestling was?
Well, yeah, it was a carnival. It's like a bunch of it really started on the carnies, and then once they try to settle into different territories across the United States, they would just like trade their top stars with each other.
Yeah, because it looks like it says, I'm looking at his I'm looking at Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia. As let's see, because yeah, he had let's see, 1973, he had an agent from WWF or Worldwide Wrestling Federation. Yes, now WWE, former WWW or W Cubed.
They lost to the
I don't know.
Panda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now WWF is World Wildlife Foundation.
Oh, so they took the they took the
That's
acronym.
that's the joke, isn't it,
Yeah,
honey?
they tapped out.
WWE tapped out to the Panda.
Do you say tapped out to the panda?
Yeah, the logo
I
for
love it.
World Wildlife Foundation is panda.
Oh, I love that. Love pandas. Yeah, it said that his agent suggested several changes to his booking and presentation to enhance his star power and like a whole thing about portraying him as like an immovable monster, and it's a perception to his size and for maneuvers like drop kicks, which I feel like is like the one I remember when I first like heard about wrestling. I'm like drop kick or suplex because I love suplex. That just also just fun to say suplex, and also it is a fun move. Looks like it
What was
hurts a
what
lot, but it
was
looks
his
like a fun
like?
move.
What was Andre's like signature move?
Andre was he was just like he would slap guys in the corner.
Hmm.
He would like just no sell their offense, and I think a big splash. I think was his
Splat. He could
yeah.
splash.
Like they'd be on the like he would knock them to the ground, and he would just
Okay, not a frog
flip.
Oh, like
splash.
you
No,
land on
he
them.
wouldn't go up high.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Okay, because I was like,
briefly.
that would kill them for sure. I'd be like, there's a 520-pound man that's about to smack down on you.
If he liked you, he'll protect you. If he didn't like you,
Who were some of
No,
Andre's, like, wrestling, like, friends and enemies, would you say?
no one really had a bad word to say about Andre. Because again, why would you
Yeah. Why would you
anger the
badmouth?
giant?
Yeah.
I guess his most famous rivalry was probably with Hogan in '87. I want to say that's
yeah,
'87.
it's saying in the 80s, he had a thing with Hulk Hogan. There's actually a picture here on the. Oh my God, Andre had like a ton of hair in this photo. He had like a kind of like a mop top of like hair,
Yep. So that was
and
probably
just
like
Hogan
Princess
being
Bride.
like that on him.
They
Damn, yeah.
basically they had to sold this 100,000 seat stadium on the back of Hogan and Andre. Like, come see this matchup, and arguably it's the most famous shot that WWE's ever had, is Hogan picking him up for the body slam.
Hulk Hogan picked up Andre?
Yeah, well, he's helping him, but yeah.
Whoa. Dang.
Yeah, I hope he's helping him. He's gonna throw out his. He would have thrown out his back.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Jesus, that's insane. That must have got so many views. Oh, everyone must have gone
Was
crazy
that
for
at
that.
WrestleMania, or was that a WrestleMania 3? Cool. How many WrestleManias was he in?
That he
Do you know?
wrestled?
Yeah.
He wrestled in the first 6, yeah, and didn't really wrestle much at the end because at that point, Andre could barely move, 93. He famously had
Jeez.
I think it was 14 bottles of wine before that.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
we were talking about before recording. We were talking about his because the alcohol couldn't go through him quite quickly for like as a normal person, and having
Yep.
to overcompensate by drinking more like wine and like cases of beer. Uh, that sounds like I'm surprised his liver made it that far. But it's also the growth issue. I'm sure that also probably portrayed into that. So unusually large body with that kind of stuff. So probably unusually large organs as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
that'd be
famous
interesting.
story
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
the famous story was during The Princess Bride that he had was 128 12-ounce beer, uh, like, beers, and he kinda passed out on the hotel lobby, and they couldn't get him up. So they
They
just
just saying that.
threw a blanket over him, they put velvet ropes around him, like, "Do not disturb."
Like the
I'm just
ropes.
Yeah.
imagining, like, a little do not disturb sign, but it's just hung on, like,
Yeah, right.
like his clothing or something. It's just, like, hooked on there, and we're like, "Yeah, just sleep be
Yeah.
for Andre."
Yeah.
I hope he was comfortable or somewhat comfortable if they put some blankets on him and stuff.
I mean, not
Yes,
doubt. Gotta sleep where you land.
no one's gonna wake him up.
Well, I wouldn't wanna wake him up. Yeah, it says also a thing, on his wrestling after the Hulk Hogan matchup, he was pitted against, Killer Khan, known as the Mongolian Giant. According to the storyline, snapped Andre's ankle during a match in May of, like, early '81, by leaping off the top rope and crashing down upon it with his knee drop. Man, there's some killer moves in wrestling. What's probably the most aggressive move you can do in wrestling that could cause some pretty bad bodily injury?
But see, things that cause legitimate injury. I'd probably say the spear, where they just was a full shoulder tackle to the gut.
Ow.
Mm,
Yeah, it
I would just
depends
call
on
it
who.
spear.
Yeah.
It's
Any other good?
What about, like, the
Well, the pile driver, that probably was the
or
be
tombstones?
being dropped on your head.
Yeah. Oh, so is
Well,
it tombstone?
yeah.
Oh.
Well, you're not supposed to. You gotta keep them safe,
Oh, you're
obviously.
not supposed to land them on the head.
Yeah, but
Just make it look like it.
exact.
fake it.
Yeah, take it to me.
Exactly. Well, this is kind of a fun fact. Well, so they said for after that, for the injury, they were like, he stayed at Beth Israel Hospital in Boston, which is kind of funny. Because my sister worked there at one point, my older sister. So I was gonna be like, that's really funny that that was the case. And then he returned, and then I think they battled again, but it resulted in a double disqualification.
E
How often does that happen? How does that happen?
Why would it happen? That was that was Mania for that haunted card. It was, they did, like, a little schmoz the month before championships held up, and they didn't want to put the belt on either of them, so, like, "Alright, so we're not gonna pin them." So, someone brings in the chair, they hit him with a chair.
The chair! Give him the chair!
That's a DQ, and then the other one takes the chair and hits the other guy with it. It's like, "Alright, so that's a double DQ," even though the person that hits him first should be the one that gets qualified. It doesn't matter.
Just bring him the chair.
Yeah. The point is we don't wanna have a winner.
Makes sense. But geez, that's like actually, I don't know why that reminds me of a funny story from I went for a wrestling thing in Worcester with Zach and some of our friends, and there was one where they said, "Talk it out," and they were like yelling it, and then the guys both grab the chairs they're gonna hit each other with, and they sit down and they start talking, and then they slap each
Oh, that's hilarious. Was that the thing at the DCU Center around Christmas?
No, is that, this one was kind of at, like I don't even know, this kinda looked like it was like a rec hall or something. I'll have to find out the name exactly, but you guys should come with us next time because it was really funny, and then somebody yelled, "Kiss! Kiss!" And they didn't do that, obviously, but it was, the suggestions in the audience were insane, and then I got to actually take a picture with one of the female wrestlers who was named Nomi, who was dressed up kinda like a gnome, and she was so funny, but she's, like, missing a tooth right here. She's much shorter than I expected when, like, she stepped off the stage because it's pretty high up, and I was like, "Oh, she's, like, a lot shorter," but she's, like, bulky, though, and she was like she's really, like she's, like they're, like, amped up, and I was just like she was, like, one of the nicest people, but she wasn't the heel, so it kinda made sense.
Yeah.
She's the winner. There's also somebody that's called I think it was, like, a wrestler by the name of, like, It's Your Mom, like, literally, that's the whole name, It's Your Mom, and it's just, like, this guy that kinda looks like he's from, like,
Weird
a
name.
party rock music video. That's the only way I can describe it. I'll have to find pictures of it. I'll put it in the post.
Well, other than
But yeah,
that,
that was fun.
John, do you have any other tales of Andre the Giant that you can recall?
That's a those are the famous
Those are
ones.
the famous ones? Oh, cool.
Well,
Well,
wait, we
thank
should
you
tell
very
him
much.
the wait, we should tell him that last thing that we read that was really,
The last thing.
heartwarming. Remember the thing when he watched the copy of, The Princess Bride with
Yes.
his friends?
Have you heard this?
Okay, so here it is. Alright, so it was one of his favorite roles, and it meant so much to him, especially with people that like when he said that when he was in, like, the role of Fezzik in The Princess Bride, like, no one stared at him on set, everyone was, like, really cordial to him, and he in an interview with somebody, he mentioned this, he loved the movie so much, like, it meant, like, a ton to him that he ended up making a few of his, like, wrestling pals watch it with him, so they watched an advanced copy of it on VHS, and they watched it with him, like, over and over again while, like, having dinner, drinks, and then he, like,
He's
asked,
gonna
like,
say
really
no.
nicely each time, he was like, "Did you guys like my performance?" And I feel like
Isn't
that's
that
so,
the
like
cutest?
that's just so heartwarming.
That's so sweet.
I will have to find that clip of, everyone saying so many nice things about him because that makes me cry every time, like, whenever they talk about him, like, he died too young because he didn't have the stuff for the medical, support for that kinda issue, which I hope they do now. I'll do some research, but yes. There you go, John. I hope that makes you feeling better about loving Andre the Giant.
Thank you.
Thanks, John!
He's going back to his nap.
Enjoy your nap.
Listeners, that John is my husband.
Yes, and they're very cute. I was at their wedding,
He has,
and
like,
it was
encyclopedic knowledge of sports and facts.
yes. Good, because I don't know much about sports. I also don't know a lot about wrestling, but it's violent and it's fun. And I
Everything I
like
know about wrestling and sports comes from that guy, so
hey, you got a professional though, which is good. You got somebody that knows their knowledge.
got a man on the
That's the
inside.
best. You got a man on the inside. That's what everyone needs. You need to know a guy,
You're
You know a guy. There's so we could talk about his childhood because I have his early life up on Wikipedia. Actually, if you wanna bring it up on your end too, we could go through it. So he was let's see, so he's a son of immigrants, and let's see, his father was Bulgarian, his mother was Polish, she was raised Catholic, and he had 2 older siblings and 2 younger siblings, and apparently his childhood nickname was Didi. And when he was born, he was my god, he was like a really big baby. He was 13 pounds when he was born.
oh, that's a big baby.
13 pound that's like a that's like a toddler coming out. That's
Mm.
crazy. And it said, he displayed symptoms of his, like, gigantism, noted as having a good head taller than other kids with abnormally long hands. It's interesting how it's, like, long hands, but, like, not, like, legs or arms or something like that. And it said they did an interview with his mother. She was 5'2" at the time, and his dad was 6'2". And according to his father, his grandfather was 7'8". So he might have had gigantism. And then by the time Andre was 12, he was about 6'3". And I know we joked earlier, like off recording, because I was like, yeah, I relate because when I was in middle school at 12, I was 5'7", because I was abnormally tall for I'm like I guess I'm on the other end of the height, not the average, but like the ending of like, when they give you like a range, you're like, oh yeah, usually women are between like this and this height. I'm on the
Uh-huh.
longer, I'm on the taller end of it. So
'Kay.
yeah, that just means I had to slow down my strides when I walked in
Yeah.
all grades. Yeah.
Cool.
Let's see. So what else did he have? If you want to read, do you have the Wikipedia page up?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else there is. Because man, he had a ton of ring names. So yeah, while you look it
Yeah.
over, he had, let's see, Andre the Giant Frenchman, the Ultimate Giant, Giant Ferrer. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Uh, Giant Machine, Jean Ferrer, Monster Eiffel Tower, Monster Rosamov, and the Polish Giant. That's a lot of names.
Dang.
But yeah, what do you want
Yeah.
to mention from his? You can do it for like childhood or otherwise.
That's a good question. He's got such a long career.
Sure. See.
Could read off his discography.
Yes, please.
Okay. So he's been in a few movies. The first one I cannot pronounce because I think that's French and I cannot pronounce that word.
That looks very French.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't it's a
That
French one.
I don't want to try.
No, it was, nice yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, The $6 Million Man, BJ and the Bear, The Fall Guy, Les Brilliant, The
I think
Greatest
that's it.
American Hero, Conan the Destroyer, Mickey and Maude, I Like to
Yeah.
Hurt People, The Goonies Are Good Enough, The Princess Bride, and Trading Mom, which was a posthumous release.
There's a cool fact about about Guinness World him being mentioned in the Guinness World Records book if you wanna mention that one.
Oh, sure, yeah, he was mentioned in the 1974 Guinness Book of World Records As the then highest paid wrestler in history, he earned an annual salary of approximately $400,000. The equivalent to that in 2025 is two mil, 2 million, $2.6 million.
It's a lot of money. Also, it's kinda crazy to think when you're like, "It was this much, like, back in the day, it would be this much now," is
Hmm.
quite the jump. Um,
Yeah.
damn, that's, like, a lot. I don't even know what, like, the average wrestler is paid, but I didn't think it would be, like, that much even for, like, the top one. Like, I think that's even more than most athletes usually start off with or
Hmm.
get to, at least halfway in their career. Damn.
He does have a child. Her name is Robin, and she says she only saw him 5 times in her entire life until his death. So,
Mhm.
but speaks very highly of him and his legacy. That's nice.
Oh, it does have the thing about, because we talked about, um, for recording, we had talked about his issue with alcohol because of being a much larger man and needing to compensate with it with more alcohol to
Mhm.
actually get the feeling of being drunk. Let's see, it says, yeah, it's under the health section. It's dubbed as the greatest drunk on earth, once consuming 119 12 US fluid ounces of beer. And it says in total over like 400 liters in 6 hours. That shouldn't be humanly possible, but
Yeah.
everything's grown is more expanded in size, so I guess that makes sense, so probably his liver is a lot more well, probably not durable from after that, but I feel like it still had the same problems. And then it mentions the hotel incident where he passed out. Yeah. So yeah, there's his cause of death, which was in 1993, if you wanna talk about that one. I'll just look up something here.
He died of congestive heart failure and an apparent heart attack in his sleep, likely associated with his acromegaly, which I think is his growth disorder. He was only
Defective
46.
substitute. Oh, he was too young. Let's see.
Sad.
Yeah.
Well, he was in Paris, so he passed away in Paris, and he was there at the time to attend his father's funeral.
Mm,
That's sad.
yeah, it said, like, he had a lot of daily struggles, like, he couldn't fit in standard cars, which I know there's, like, a lot of stuff for, like, on, like, shows, like, especially talking about, like, people that have, the very, unusual height difference or size difference because of kind of problems similar to Andre. They're, like, getting things that are custom, especially back then, like, pre-2000s, trying to get things that would fit somebody like that, and it's like, probably couldn't get in most cars, and I'm like, "How do you travel like that? How do you get on a plane like that?" And he couldn't fit in, like, for bathrooms or hotel beds. Yeah, it definitely says, like, he had a lot of issues with it, and also the accelerated rate at which his bones would grow. And, we talked about chronic pain he had, which must have been very constant. It definitely says that, he was very much a gentle giant personality, even with his WrestleMania kinda, persona, but he seemed like he was very much a sweet person, especially from what they say in, like, his cast from Princess Bride said about him, and what was the thing you said with, was it with Robin Wright really
Mhm.
taking a liking to him?
Yeah, I'm just reading that. You know that brand Obey?
Yeah.
That's his face.
Right, I think I saw that, so I remember seeing that brand, and I was like I think when I first saw it, I was just like, "Who is that supposed to be?" And then yeah, and then I was like I remember I think you actually had mentioned it to me a while ago, I was just like, "That's what it is?" I was like, "I've always seen that, and everyone says how iconic it is." And I'm like, "That makes sense why it's like, that makes sense." It's like, of course, it's like him and be like a kind of immortalized in that, in that brand.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's crazy because I mean, I'm sure he had to deal with a lot of issues in, like, his youth too, especially with being somebody that big, and I mean, I feel like they definitely still have it now where when you have differences to you or you look different or you have these kind of, things where your growth is such a big thing of being like really tall and being this large and people kind of either thinking of you something like I'm sure some people were probably either intimidated or scared of him because of his height, but I think he really proved them wrong by being like such a kind and pleasant soul on this earth. And I think a lot of people did like him, and I think a lot of people sympathize with him having to deal with being different even back then too. And he's such like a icon through and through life. But I hope that they've been able to, find ways to help people who have gigantism or similar pituitary gland issues. I think there's definitely they have some stuff now, especially from the research I just did they have stuff like, I think they do some surgeries on the pituitary gland, they do medications, I think they have, like, different forms of treatments for it to help halt excessive growth in a way, or to help with things like joint pain and heart issues and to help prevent, like, long-term complications. It's good to that they have that now, but it's kinda like it just sucks that they couldn't have had that sooner because he died so young. But, hey, he's forever an icon, and he's, like, one of the most memorable characters from A Princess Bride and one of the most memorable wrestlers from wrestling history. So I
Yeah.
think he left behind quite the legacy in that short time. Ooh, I found a facts page on Andre the
Mhm.
Giant. Let's see. Would you like me to send it? Or we can wrap it up if you want. Actually, what's our time? Oh yeah, we're like 25 minutes. So yeah, we can wrap it up with a few facts. Let's see. It looks like he had a legendary undefeated streak. So when he joined in the early 70s for WWE, he had a winning streak that ran nearly 15 years, and then it ended in 1987 with Hulk Hogan defeating him. Let's see. What else was he? He's known as like the eighth one. He was nicknamed the eighth wonder of the world, which I could see why. It said he liked to play cards. He played Britain's national card game, which is called cribbage. So I guess he was a fan of cribbage. Interesting. And they have a picture of him playing cribbage with somebody. It's
Nice.
really cool. And then I also wonder if he named his kid after Robin Wright, the actress he worked alongside in Princess Bride. I wonder if that's why he named her Robin.
It's a good question.
Actually, what does she look like now? How old is she? Let's see. He was both babyface and a heel in wrestling, so he was loved and hated by fans. Let's see, he also won PWI's Match of the Year award in 1981, and he's the most popular wrestler in 1977 and 1980, and he's a Hall of Famer, so he's in WWE Hall of Fame and was
Good.
one of the very first inductees to it.
Good.
I think I would love to meet Andre the Giant if he was still alive now. Uh,
Mm.
Because he definitely had an interesting life and lived through, a very interesting, condition as well, and I know it was probably harder back then being different to go through it, but I think he took it in stride. Because
He's
you
an
can be
icon.
so different and then become this really, amazing symbol to everyone else. But I think that's where we'll wrap up. It was great to talk about it with you, Paige, and
And
get some good
John.
stories on Andre and John. John, thank you for the stories, and I think that was really good because it's nice to talk about such an amazing icon and also from an amazing movie. Very good. But we hope you guys stay tuned for more episodes. We hope you enjoyed this episode and do some of your own research on Andre the Giant. And we'll come back to you soon with another episode. So enjoy your night and stay tuned for more. Say bye, Paige.
Pitch.
Bye, guys.